Listen, I just left my daughter at your house, so take care of her. I'm off on a business trip for a week.
It's always sudden with my sister-in-law, who loves to drop off her daughter at our house. Today, she seemed to have left her daughter at our doorstep and gone somewhere without even seeing me.
What? I'm in Hawaii right now. There's nobody at home.
Goodness, you can't just abandon a child at an unattended house. There's a severe heat warning. My niece is in danger. Oh, what in the world am I supposed to do? My name is Nicole. I'm a 32-year-old working housewife. I met my husband, Tom, through mutual friends and we got married. We, who prioritize our careers, decided on a childless lifestyle after a long discussion when we were considering marriage. We've been married for 6 years, and we have never regretted our decision. Our parents and in-laws were slightly disappointed, but they respected our decision and never said anything against it. Our siblings each have children, and thanks to that, we've been able to live worry-free and happily as a couple. However, the problem child amongst our siblings is the sister. This sister is my husband's one, and so, my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law, Megan, is a 26-year-old single mother. Last year, she divorced and moved back to her parents' house with her 2-year-old daughter. My niece, Lindsay, is now 3 years old. She's at a very demanding age. Because of this, my sister-in-law often visits our house. Apparently, it's because her elderly parents find it difficult to take care of Lindsay. Lindsay, don't draw on the wall.
Don't you like this snack? Oh no, don't throw it. Oh dear, did you have a little accident? Do we have a change of clothes? Yikes, that's an important tablet. Don't drop it.
You simply cannot take your eyes off her for a second. Yet, my sister-in-law is often lying on the couch, watching a movie with a drink in hand. I understand she's usually overwhelmed with child-rearing. But, completely leaving it to others, that's not acceptable, right? I don't have kids of my own, and I haven't spent much time with my brother's children either due to distance. And I'm the youngest sibling. To put it bluntly, I'm not good at taking care of children, it's not my forte. I can handle it occasionally. But,
Nicole, could watch Lindsay until tomorrow evening? You're off work tomorrow, right? What? Megan, do you have something to do? I've got some troublesome work to do. It's hard to ask my parents. They are old. Thanks.
This is so sudden. She often pushes babysitting onto me like this. Once in a while is fine, but frequently is just too much. Tom does mention it subtly when she asks too often, but my sister-in-law has a secret weapon which is hard to counter. The secret weapon? Well, it's her tear-jerking appeal. I'm sorry for always troubling you, Tom. But I'm having a hard time, too. I need your help, she says, looking up at Tom with teary eyes. Please, Tom, I'm begging you. And then what do you think happens? Well, it can't be helped, I understand. He said. Her brother fell. Well, it's not like he is pushing it onto me. My husband properly watches the child. Otherwise, I would have never forgiven her. Brings back memories. She looks exactly like my sister when she was young. My husband reminisces, squinting his eyes remembering the times when his younger sister was still a child. He doesn't want children, but if we have kids, he will surely show affection. That's just how my husband is. But, it's not like my husband can always take care of everything, which gives me a headache. Since my husband can work from home, he sometimes works at home even on holidays when he's busy. Today is exactly one of those days. I can't leave it to my husband who's working at home, so I am watching my niece by myself. Is it going to be like this until tomorrow? At least, while you're free watching TV, can't you take care of your own child? I asked, my face contorting as my sister-in-law said, well, I'm going home, and left. Leaving her daughter behind, of course.
Mommy, are you going home? Then Lindsay too. Mommy's going to work. You're in the way, so stay here.
A harsh comment to her daughter who wanted to go home together, from my sister-in-law. Then, my sister-in-law quickly left, leaving behind her niece who was making a sad face. Isn't that a bit too much? While I was taken aback, my niece started crying in front of me. It wasn't a loud cry. She clung tightly to my clothes, her tears flowing as she bit her lips, trying to endure. Seeing her like that tugged at my heartstrings, and I couldn't help but hold her. Her tiny hand gripped my clothes tightly. You feel lonely, don't you? You want your mommy, don't you? She's so cute, yet I felt anger towards my sister-in-law for her cold attitude. Still, my sister-in-law might be suffering from parental stress. No matter how cute your own child is, you can get irritated and then feel guilty afterwards. My friend shared that with me. If my sister-in-law's coldness is due to that, I couldn't say anything. Even though I don't have a child, I'm trying my best to be of help to my sister-in-law, who's a mother. But my sister-in-law has a tendency to look down on me.
Since you don't have a child, you wouldn't understand. Do you think you'll be liked by children with that attitude? I'm contributing to society by increasing the population. Those who can't contribute should keep quiet.
My sister-in-law kept hitting where it hurts. There were times when my husband would admonish her, and there were times when he would get angry, but my sister-in-law didn't care. That's why people without children, she would say every time. Your brother is childless too, you know?
My brother took care of me, his little sister. He has parenting experience.
I doubt taking care of a little sister counts as parenting experience, but indeed, my husband does seem to be used to dealing with children. I feel frustrated at my inability to respond effectively. Even though my sister-in-law looks down on me, she often leaves her child to me. There are times when she would suddenly show up early in the morning, leave her niece, and quickly go somewhere else. Despite me telling her numerous times to let me know in advance, my sister-in-law didn't listen. If she were to let us know in advance, she might think that we would not open the door. I felt sorry for my niece who was always left behind by her mother, with tears in her eyes. On a certain midsummer day. This year is said to have a lot of extremely hot days, and indeed, there were too many hot days in a row. Unable to stand the intense heat, my husband and I came up with a plan. In the midst of that, a call from my sister-in-law. I have a bad feeling about this. Why is she calling my cell phone in the first place? Shouldn't she be calling her brother, my husband? While harboring a feeling of unease, I answered the call. Then, my sister-in-law, in a shrill voice, shouted, "Good morning. What are you doing? Still sleeping? It's already 7 in the morning, causing a headache." Holding my aching head, I listened to her talk with a heavy feeling.
We've been up for a while. What do you want? Oh, you're awake. Then it's good timing. I thought you were sleeping because no one answered the intercom no matter how many times I rang it. What do you mean? I just left my daughter in front of your house. I'm going on a business trip for work from today for a week. What? What are you saying? So, I'm off on a business trip. Please watch my daughter for me. Wait, what about your parents? Huh? Oh, Dad's been feeling unwell because of the heat. He's in the hospital for a while.
Now that she mentioned it, I remembered my husband saying something like that.
Mom is busy accompanying him, so she can't watch my daughter. You don't have any kids, so you must have a lot of free time. So, I'd appreciate it if you could take care of her. Wait a minute. What now? I'm in a hurry. She has a change of clothes, so she'll be fine. Gotta go. But I'm in Hawaii. Huh?
My shouting seemed to finally reach my sister-in-law. She had been babbling one-sidedly until then, but she finally stopped talking.
What did you just say? Hawaii? Who's there? How? I mean, we're in Hawaii. We took some time off work to escape the heat in Arizona and we're here. What? How could you do that without telling me? And why would you go to Hawaii to escape the heat? Hawaii's temperature is around 86 degrees Fahrenheit. It's much more bearable than the extreme heat in Arizona, which is near 104 degrees. I don't care about that. Who gave you permission to go to Hawaii? We decided to go as a couple. We don't need anyone's permission, right? You should have asked me for permission.
My response should have been, why should I care? But, unable to say so, I swallowed my words as my sister-in-law mumbled something.
What am I supposed to do? Do about what? I left my daughter in front of your house. Then you should go back and get her right away. What are you saying? I'm already at the train station. No, you need to go back. How can I? I'm about to go on a business trip. It's an important job. Did you just start to say vacation? Shut up. Just go home. Go back to Arizona and pick up my daughter. I can't. Do you know how long that takes? I don't care. Just go get my daughter right now. Hey, waita.
Unbelievably, my sister-in-law abruptly ended the call. Holding my now silent cell phone, I stood stunned for a moment. Immediately after regaining my senses, the first thing I did, naturally, was to go get my husband. At this moment, it was noon in Hawaii. With a 3-hour time difference, she had mentioned it would be around 3 p.m. in Arizona. The outdoor temperature is likely very hot. In a rush, I checked the weather in Arizona and found today's forecast predicted a scorching 104 degrees Fahrenheit. This was bad, really bad. While going to call my husband, who was at the hotel pool, I made a call. A few days later, my husband and I found ourselves in a certain location. Of course, we had returned from Hawaii. Immediately after returning, we headed straight to this particular location. That's a famous spa resort. Armed with the information that they were here, we made this special trip. As we approached our targeted inn, who should come out but the very person we were looking for? I suddenly started running and blocked the person's path.
Megan! Huh? Why are you here?
That's right, the they I referred to was my sister-in-law, Megan. I was shocked to learn from my mother-in-law where she was heading. It was a place she wouldn't normally go on a business trip. Upon seeing her there, it all made sense to me.
A business trip to the spa, huh? Nice. And you're arm in arm with a guy. That's some business trip.
That's what happened. My sister came out arm in arm with a man. Their demeanor was clearly more than just friendly colleagues. It was an obvious intimate relationship between a man and a woman. Hey, Megan, what the hell is this? The one angrily confronting her was my husband.
Hey, even you, big bro. Why? What are you doing, leaving your sweet little girl Lindsay alone? What on earth are you doing? This isn't a business trip, obviously. No, this is not what it seems. What's different about it?
My husband, red with anger, and my sister-in-law, pale with shock. Then, someone else chimes in.
What's going on here?
It's the man who was with my sister-in-law. Looking puzzled, the man alternates his gaze between my sister-in-law and my husband. Then, he looks at me, not understanding the situation. So, I decided to explain. That we're Megan's brother and sister-in-law. And that, Megan left her daughter Lindsay at our house, claiming it was a business trip. And it's a heat wave.
What?
The man was shocked at my words. He seemed unaware of such rough behavior. But my guess was off.
Megan, do you have a kid?
So that's what it was.
Oh, didn't you know? I didn't. I knew she was divorced, but she said she didn't have kids. She does have one, a 3-year-old girl. What?
When I told him the truth, the man's eyes popped wide open. My sister-in-law's face turned from pale to white. She looked like all the blood drained from her face.
Hey, stop discussing things without me. But it seemed like he didn't know. Of course I didn't tell him. Stop doing things on your own.
My sister-in-law's face turned from white to red. She was fuming at my actions. She looked like she was about to pounce on me any moment. But the man didn't let her. With a dumbfounded face, he looked at my sister-in-law.
Megan, is it true? Do you have a kid?
My sister-in-law was flustered.
No, it's not like that. Well, it is, but it's not. I was going to tell you eventually, but I just couldn't find the right time. I asked you, didn't I? Before we started dating. Whether you had a kid. You clearly told me you didn't. That's not the point. I was planning to explain it step by step. Step by step? You should have answered when I first asked, that's the step. But that's not.
She was on the verge of tears. She desperately tried to explain, but he was in no mood to listen.
And you left your daughter behind to come on this trip. You left her alone in this scorching heat, enjoying your time without a care. Weren't you worried about your daughter? I wasn't worried because I knew my brother and sister-in-law would look after her. We were in Hawaii until yesterday. We rushed back ahead of schedule. Even if we had received the call and immediately came back, it would still take a few hours. Don't go around saying unnecessary things.
When I explained the situation to the man, my sister-in-law glared at me. But he pushed past her and came up to my husband and me.
I apologize for not being aware of this.
With that, the man apologized. That was unexpected. I thought he was the same type as my outrageous sister-in-law. He seems to be a very decent person.
So, where's Megan's daughter now?
The person who should be worried was my sister-in-law, not this stranger. While feeling exasperated at my sister-in-law, I simply told the man, "It's been tough."
What do you mean? Well, since Megan doesn't seem to care, I wonder if there's any need to explain.
As I say that, the man's face pales once again. My sister-in-law's face turns red.
Hey, hold on a minute. I'm worried about my daughter too. But because you guys are taking care of her. Even when we were in Hawaii, you left her alone.
At my remark, my sister-in-law fell silent. The man looked at her in disbelief.
Your father-in-law is in the hospital. Your mother-in-law is accompanying him. We were in Hawaii. The mother is on a trip. Now, what do you think happened to Lindsay?
With that, I glared at my sister-in-law. The one who turned pale at that moment was the man.
No way!
There were no words to follow. Instead, my sister-in-law's scream dominated the scene.
I don't care what happens to that burden of a child,
she said, grinning.
Megan, are you serious? Yeah, I am. Hey, it seems like I really have no children now, so let's date with the intent to marry.
What a person. We are witnessing something unbelievable. My sister-in-law is delighted, even though her daughter might be in the worst situation. It's the worst. I gritted my teeth. Next to me, my husband was trembling with anger. Without caring about us, my sister-in-law reached out to the man.
Hey, now that the nuisance is gone, let's enjoy the rest of our trip. Hey!
It's no good, I can't stand it anymore. The moment I stepped forward to slap her, there was a sharp sound. It wasn't me. I hadn't laid a hand on her yet. It was the sound of a hand being slapped down. The man had slapped down the hand my sister-in-law had extended.
Huh?
She looked dumbfounded in surprise. The man gave her a cold look.
That's enough,
he said.
Huh? That's it, we're breaking up. What? Wait, what are you saying? I've realized since we started dating, I'm just sick of your self-centeredness. Huh? By this, by that, I want to go here, I want to go there, everything is all about you. And a child. You even kept silent about having a kid. And you left her alone in the sweltering heat. That's just unacceptable. But the child is already...
My sister-in-law, pale, tried to cling to the man. However, the hand she reached out was swatted away by him again.
That's the worst part. If you were a loving single parent taking good care of your child, I might have accepted it. But what's this? You see the kid as a nuisance? You want to enjoy your trip without worrying? How could I possibly stay with a woman like that?
My sister-in-law, her eyes wide open, her lips quivering. To her, the man declared,
I didn't know you were such an outrageous woman. It's impossible for me to marry a woman who doesn't cherish her child. We're breaking up. We're done. Stay away from me forever. No. Wait, don't leave me. You're the one who abandoned your daughter, right?
The man, yelling back at my sister-in-law trying to cling to him, turned his back on her and walked into the hotel. The man came out carrying his clothes and luggage while my sister-in-law stood in stunned silence. Without a glance at my sister-in-law, who was watching, the man apologized to us and left.
No!
After the man had disappeared from view for a while, my sister-in-law crumbled to the ground and sat down.
No! He was the man I finally snagged! I thought I could live comfortably playing around.
My sister-in-law slumped on the ground. Looking down at her with cold eyes are my husband and me. She got what she deserved. There couldn't be a more fitting phrase.
You don't deserve to be a mother. We're going to consult a lawyer and take appropriate action. Don't ever step foot in our home again.
My husband spat these words at my sobbing sister-in-law and then turned his back on her. I followed suit.
Wait, what about Lindsay? What happened to her?
She threw the question at our retreating backs. However, without looking back, I saw my sister-in-law, now a tearful mess, glaring at us. I simply said, well, and proceeded to follow my husband. Her screams echoed. After that, we banned my sister-in-law, who wouldn't be out of place being charged with parental neglect, from our house. A complicated legal process followed, resulting in a no-contact order. The things my sister-in-law had done were unforgivable, and her parents kept apologizing to us sincerely. My sister-in-law, who prioritized her relationship with her boyfriend over her daughter, was dating a married man. He had made all sorts of promises, but he turned out to be just as bad as her. In the end, the man's wife found out about the affair. With nowhere to go and in financial distress, my sister-in-law disappeared somewhere. We heard rumors that she was seen in the city at night, but nothing certain. I suspected that we would never meet my sister-in-law again. That's what I thought. But as for Lindsay, my niece.
Hey, Aunt Nicole. What's this cake?
She's very lively and enjoying life at our home. Actually, on that day when I was in Hawaii, after receiving a phone call from my sister-in-law, I hurriedly called my brother. Our home is a solid 2-hour drive from my brother's, but as it turned out, he was close by that day. A few hours before my sister-in-law's call, I had received a message from my brother, saying he was nearby on a family trip. He asked if we could meet, but I had just replied, "Sorry, we're in Hawaii." I dialed my brother and asked him to look after my niece. My brother agreed without hesitation, and hurried to our house, leaving his hotel early in the morning. Just 15 minutes after my call, my brother arrived at our house and safely picked up my niece. Apparently, she had been crying a lot in front of the house. I was relieved that my brother was nearby. Then, my husband and I hastily cut short our trip to Hawaii and returned home. We went to see my sister-in-law right away. My niece didn't seem to miss her at all, given that my sister-in-law had not been a good caregiver to begin with. Right now, my niece, eyes shining, is fixated on the cake on the table. To her, I say,
"Today, we're celebrating." Celebrating? That's right. We're celebrating Lindsay becoming a part of our family. A part of your family? Yes. That means your uncle and I are going to be with you all the time. Really?
At my words, my niece's eyes widened and a huge smile spread across her face. To her, I nod firmly. "We're looking forward to being with you, Lindsay." At that moment, she leapt into my arms and I hugged her tightly in return.